Salvation International Preparatory School. Salvation International Preparatory School. A place to be, a school to go. We'll build you up from the cradle to university. Salvation International Preparatory School. Salvation International Preparatory School. A place to be, a school to go. We'll build you up from the cradle to university.
Good day, my loving peoples.
Good day, Auntie.
And dear viewers, you're all welcome to SIPS Special Legacy Moment. Here in Primary 6, we'll be looking at quantitative reasoning. And in our quantitative reasoning, we'll be looking at text 7. And inside the text 7, we have a magic box, which we can also call a magic table. And from the illustration above, you can see the magic table. On the magic table, we have columns and rows. And this is the columns, and these are the rows. And we have asterisk, and they ask us to examine the missing alphabet in the following box. But before we determine the missing alphabet in the magic box or magic table, I always inform my people that quantitative reasoning is not mathematics, but is a better understanding for you to know maths. And when you're able to know the maths, it now makes quantitative reasoning very easy for you to calculate, very easy for you to explain, or very easy for you to observe. So with that quantitative reasoning now, you're able to solve the sample that you have in your exercise. Now, we have given some exercise for us to look, that we should examine the filling letter in the magic table. And what we need to do in this magic table, we are consider 4 steps. The first one, we are consider the multiplication number and the division number. So which means that we are using our rows. Since I've told you earlier on, this horizontal is our rows, while the vertical here, this up one, is our what? Columns. So we're now using our rows to multiply our what? In the first line. But before we can get the answer, in quantitative reasoning, we don't guess, there's no guesswork. You need to work it out, so that in case the first sample will follow with the second one, then that determine all the missing or the filling number they ask you to look for. So before we do the first line, the first box, as an example, before we now determine what does A represent, what does B represent, what does C represent, what does D represent, and what does E represent. So what we are going to do, we use our row to multiply our what? Our column. So now, what to look for? How did they get this 0, 3, 0? Before we now look for the missing letter or the missing alphabet here. So let's move to the board. The first one is the first row, which means that we are using our 2 to multiply our 3. Are you seeing it from the board? 2 multiply our, this is the first row, and this is the first column, and which is the first line. We want to derive at this 0, how they get it. So when we're able to get these 3 examples, we can find our what? Determine the letter C. So 2 multiply 3, class is called, what is the answer?
6.
We have 6. Now, this is the 6. But if you look at the magic table, 0 is the answer. So that's why the quantitative reasoning guides students to think by themselves, to be able to observe. When you think by yourself, you're able to solve this quantitative. Now, since 2 multiply 3 gives us 6. Now, we are now using this 6 to divide the 6. How do we get this 6, my dear people? In the magic box or the magic table, since I told you earlier on that quantitative reasoning is ability for you to be able to think, so able to solve, to calculate, and make the content easy for you. Now, in this magic table, we are using multiplication number. which is our base 6, which means that you are not using base 6 to divide your actual answer. Since this is our actual answer, so for us to get the answer inside the magic table, we are not using the number base 6, that is which is number 6, to divide it. And now we are taking our remainder as our final answer. In our previous class, we are talking about division with remainder and without remainder. So in this magic table, if the remainder, they not take as their what? Answer. So let's go on. 6 divided 6. Now we take it as fraction. We take it as fraction. How is fraction? This has to be as fraction. So now the top one is called the numerator, and the bottom number is called what? Denominator. The denominator. So we now divide. 6 divided 6.
1.
6 times 1.
6.
6 subtract 6.
0.
So you now discover that 1 remainder 0, which means that 6 divided 6 is 1 time remainder what? 0. And if you look at the magic table, our answer is what? 0. So now, want to consider the second box before we can look for the missing letter. Now, the second line, which is this is the second row. We are not using the number in second row to also multiply what? The first number in where? In the column. So now, I'll go straight. 3 times 3 will give us what?
9.
9 divided 6 will give us what?
1 remainder 3.
So which means that we are right to the task. Our answer here is what? 3. So which means they are not taking what? The remainder as the answer. So let's look at the second box, which is what? 4. So also using our 4 to multiply our what? The 3, to know whether this answer is actually correct before we can find the missing letter. Now, we are through with 3. 4 multiply 3 will give us what?
12.
Now, we're not using this 12 to also divide the number, like the base 6, to get our answer. Then from there, we'll not take the remainder, which will give us the 0 in the magic box. So 12 divided 6 will give us what?
2 remainder 0.
As a parent, I have always asked, how can I prepare my children for the infrastructural development and socio-economic evolution of the next decade? With the ongoing speed of globalization, how can I position my children to perform excellently in a rapidly changing society? The answer is and has always been to give them a solid foundation, academically, spiritually, and morally. Salvation International Preparatory Schools, with her team of highly qualified tutors, conducive environment for learning, state-of-the-art computer and science laboratories coupled with quality day and boarding facilities, is the place to be. For more information, contact 080-233-76135. SIPS remains the birthplace of leaders.
So which means that 6 can go in 12 2 times remainder 0. So which means that in this magic table is the final answer of the remainder that they are taking to get their outcome. So which means that when we are not doing the missing number, we are taking the remainder in the division of number to get our answer. Is that clear, peoples?
Yes.
So now let's look for this missing alphabet, which is C. We are also used to use the row, which is 5, to times the column, the first box in the column, which is 3. 5 times 3 will give us what?
15.
Fine. Now that the answer is 15, so we're not using this 15 to divide our base 6 to get the answer in the magic table. So which means that 15 divide 6 will give us what?
2 remainder 3.
So which means that This letter C or alphabet C that we are looking for, the answer is what? 3. So which means that in this number 3, what does C represent? Mean that our answer is what? Is that taken?
Yes.
Is that clear?
Yes.
So now that we are done with this letter C, let us get to see how they discover this 0, which is also 0. So which means we're also using this 6 row to multiply our what? The number 3 in the first column to get the answer here. So let's go on. 6 multiplied 3 will give us what?
18.
Now that we have used 6 to times 3, we'll get 18. Now I want to look at how they get this 0 at their final answer. So which means that we are now using this 18 to multiply our base 6, which we are using for the magic table to get our actual answer. So 18 divide 6. So which means that 18 divide 6 will give us how many times?
3.
So which means that 6 appear in 18 3 times, but no the remainder 0, or no other number that follow is remainder 0. That's why here they are having 0. Is that clear?
Yes, Auntie.
Is that clear, peoples?
Yes, Auntie.
Now we are giving question on below that we should examine A, B, D, and E. Already we have already gotten our answer for C. Now I want to examine the alphabet A, that the asterisk on the box. So what we need to do, we now use our 3 to times what? Our 4, which is 3 multiply 4 will give us what? 12. So we now use our 12 to divide our base 6, which is 12 divided 6. That is 6 into 12 will now give us what? 2, remainder 0. So which means that our A is what? 0. On this note, because of time, we have come to the end of today's topic. Bye.
As a parent, I have always asked, how can I prepare my children for the infrastructural development and socio-economic evolution of the next decade? With the ongoing speed of globalization, how can I position my children to perform excellently in a rapidly changing society? The answer is and has always been to give them a solid foundation. Academically, spiritually, and morally. Salvation International Preparatory Schools, with her team of highly qualified tutors, conducive environment for learning, state-of-the-art computer and science laboratories coupled with quality day and boarding facilities, is the place to be. For more information, contact 080-233-76135. SIPS remains the birthplace of leaders.
Salvation International Preparatory School. Salvation International Preparatory School. A place